So what I want to do is we're going to continue on from our last lesson. And before, well, in fact, let's start with this. Yeah. Okay. So what have we been doing recently? We've been doing the study of probability, and the most important equation in the whole of probability is the number of possible outcomes over the number of favorable outcomes for a particular event. So that's going to keep coming. And then the other thing we've been doing is we've been using these things called Venn diagrams. A Venn diagram, which normally has the sample space as a rectangle, and then using circles to represent events in the sample space. Okay, so that's stuff we've been doing in the previous lesson. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to start by trying this question, which is quite similar to something we did in the last lesson. And I want us to try and draw the Venn diagram for this first. And then once you've drawn the Venn diagram, I then want you to say done in the chat. So let's start by trying to do the Venn diagram, and then we'll do the probability calculation after that.
You can sleep if you want.
And then I think we can hit, I'm going to hit mute all, I think, because I heard some other background noise. Maybe, Leo, you can do that. And then, yeah. Cool. All right. Myself.
Sorry, Mr. S, please unmute.
Sorry, Lebo, I thought I unmuted. There are 50 learners and 35 take mathematics and 30 take history. 12 learners do not take either. What does my Venn diagram look like? I want you to try and draw that. And I want you to think about the different regions in that Venn diagram. And then once you have done it, to say done, or if you would like to give me some guidance or some hints, you can put your hand up and you can guide me through what you think we should do it, how we should do it. I'm always keen to have some students get in on the journey. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a big rectangle to start with. So I'm going to put M for mathematics and H for history. And probably the most useful piece of information is that there are 50, but 12 learners do not take mathematics or history. So they have to be outside of the Venn diagrams, or outside of the circles, the events M and H. What I want to know now, though, is how do we work out these three regions in the middle? So, you know, how do we know what that one is? Maybe I should even call them A, B, and C. So we'll call this like A, B, and C. Who has some ideas as to how we can work that out? Who would like to put their hand up? There's a couple of different ways we can do this. The one way I showed you in the previous lesson, but I'll show you a second way now as well.
I think Elie has an idea.
Okay, let's go to Elie. Hi, Elie, what do you think we should do?
Hi.
Hey.
I think you should minus the 12 for both the people who take math and history.
So 50 minus 12, which is? Am I right? Is that what you were saying?
30, yes, 38, yeah.
38, okay.
Oh, wait. No, I was saying that you should minus the 12 from the 35 and the 30.
Oh,
is that
okay.
how it's done?
So it's a good, so the reason what I was thinking you were going to do is say, well, there's 12 who don't take anything. and there's 50 in total. So there must be 38 who live basically inside this region, because the 12 has to be outside that circle. So that's probably you can't really take the 12 away from stuff inside the circle, because the 12 is outside of any event. Because there's 50 learners in total. Now, there's two ways of doing this. The one way, some of you, I didn't do this in the last lesson, but some of you might want to make this region that X, or some of you might want to ask yourself, well, if I add the 35 learners who take mathematics and the 30 learners who take history, that is going to be, what is that going to be? So I'm taking all the ones that are inside the mathematics one, and all the ones that take history, we have 65 in total. But now we have a problem, because what this is saying is, according to, if I counted all this, one number is saying that it's 65, and the other number is saying it's 38. And the reason is that we've double counted something. So can anybody remember from the last lesson how we solved this problem in the last lesson? Otherwise, I'll show you the one method, and then I'll show you another one, which maybe would be more suitable. So what is the difference between 38 and 65? What do you think the difference is between 38 and 65? Okay, so it would be 15 plus 12. I think it's going to be 27. 27. If you look at the difference between these two, you're going to get 27. And that difference is actually going to be the amount in the middle. However, from what I'm seeing now, I think the other method might be, so remember the answer is 27, but I think possibly the method that will be more useful for you is if I make this X, and I know that the whole of math is 35, would you agree with me that this is 35 minus X? If I let that be X. And then over here, what is this H over here going to be, following that method I just showed you now? So we know H is 30. And so this would be 30 minus X. Okay. So now we've got the three regions, but we don't know what the X is. So what do we need to do in order to build an equation and solve for X? What do you think we need to do? What number do I need to use that I haven't used? If I go 12 plus 35 minus X plus 30 minus X, it's going to be equal to something. What do you think that's going to be? I think I've added up all the regions in the Venn diagram. And what do we know the total is? It's going to be 50. Yes. I want you to work out what X is from this equation. So I want you to go through the process now. I'm going to give you a bit of time. I want you to solve this equation. And what do you get for X? And we'll see if the two methods agree or not. So let's see, what's 12 plus 35 plus 30? I'll use my calculator. So that is 77, and then minus X plus X minus X. What do you get for your X value? Put your answer in the chat. What do you get for your X value? So X,
Mr. Ayers,
yeah.
there's a question from Nolazi asking, why is the equation not equal to 38? Why is it equal to 50?
Because I added the 12. So remember, the whole thing is, so if I was just looking at the region inside the circles, it would be 38. but because I'm looking at the whole thing, I'm making it equal to 50. So I could have actually, Nawazi, you could have said 35 minus x plus 30 minus x equals 38. You would have got the same answer. So Nawazi, you correct in some ways. You wouldn't have had 50, you would have had 38. So the final answer here would have been 77 minus 50 equals x. And so x is 27. Okay, so what I've done is I've shown you two methods, right? The one method was to double. I think most of you seem to prefer the idea of putting x in the middle. So I'm going to stay with that. The other method where you compare what is the difference will also give you the same answer of 27. And if you want to understand that, you can always watch the recording and see it again. But it seems like most of you prefer this idea of giving the middle its value. So now that we know what x is, if we go back to the original, we can fill in the values. This is going to be 27. Now, what is this going to be? It's just going to be 35 minus 27, which is 8. This is going to be 3, and this is going to be 12. Give me a thumbs up if you understand how I put that, how I got those numbers using the thing over there. And is there a question? I see there's some hands up. Who has a question? Okay, I don't see any questions at the moment. All right, awesome. Now, I want you guys to answer this next one. If a learner is chosen at random from this group, what is the probability that he takes both mathematics and history? So I want you to answer that question. What is the probability that if a person is chosen at random, that they take both mathematics and history? So what is the number of possible outcomes? What is the number of favorable outcomes for this question? So I know there's only 50 students involved. What's the number of favorables? Well, it's just going to be 27, because 27 is this region over here. Okay. Cool. I think you did pretty well on that. So I think we can move on now. Let me know if there are any questions in the chat, but I thought I saw some good answers coming through there. Okay, for our second question, what we're going to do is a more sort of algebra looking type question. And I'm just going to zoom up a little bit and bring this down. Actually, you know, we're not going to draw the Venn diagram. I just want you to do A. So it says you're given the following information. I'll draw the Venn diagram for you afterwards, but I just want to know, I want you to work out what is the probability of A or B, and you're given a particular formula. You're given an identity, sorry, the OR identity or the additive identity. So you know that the probability of A is going to be 0.5. B is 0.4. And then, so what is the probability of A or B going to be? Yeah, so that's actually not so bad, because you know the probability of A or B is just going to be whatever this is. And so that would just be 0.6. If you were drawing the Venn diagram, the way the Venn diagram would look and I'm just going to do it for you to save time today. A and B would just be the bit over here, 0.3. But now, let me actually, I'm going to put the middle bit. So 0.3 is done. What is going to go into this region over here? I want you to tell me what goes in that region based on what the question has said so far. So I've done part of the question for you, but I want you to tell me what is the decimal value or the probability value that's going to go in that part. I'm going to see, I want to catch some of you maybe. Okay, sneaky. Oh, you guys are clever. So I thought some of you might write 0.5 here, but it's 0.5 in total, which means this must be 0.2. And then on this side, B must be what? What does B have to, what does this one have to be? Okay, fantastic. That's 0.1. And then the final one, what's going to be out here? What's going to be the probability of not being not A or B? Think about what does this outside region, or it's the complement of A or B? What's the complement of A or B? So inside the sample space, the probability will always add to 1. And so if you want to know what this region is, you need to go minus all the areas. So you're trying to find the probability of this space out here. And so you start with 1 and you just take away 0.2, 0.3, and 0.1, which is going to be what? It's going to be 0.4. And so what we have there is we have a Venn diagram that's written in terms of probabilities. And you see that the probabilities always have to sum up to 1, because 1 is 100% chance. And there's a 100% chance you'll have an event inside this rectangle. That's it. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you feel okay with that. Thumbs down if you feel a bit wonky on that. I want to see some thumbs. I want to see the thumbs of my students. Up or down? Okay. So, my people, it is time for us to venture into new territory. And I want to consider a probability situation with a Venn diagram where there are 3 possible events that can occur. So here is the situation. A survey is conducted with a group of 50 learners to find out what is more popular at the school tuck shop. I'm sure you can relate to this type of situation. And they are asked if they buy toasted sandwiches, salads, or burgers. Now, they can choose none, so no, not buy anything. They can buy 1, 2, or 3 things from the school tuck shop. And what this Venn diagram is showing you is it's showing you the sandwiches in the first circle, the salads is the S, and then the burgers over here. And then outside of that would be the people who don't buy anything for lunch. I want you to try and answer A for me. Try and answer A. So we know in total we have 50. And what we're really looking for is this region out here. So I have to go 50 minus 1 minus 3 minus 5 minus 4 minus 15 minus 2 minus 10. And we get 10. We get that. Okay, now I want you to answer these next 3 questions. Calculate the probability that a learner at random, and I want you to buy salad, but not toasted sandwiches or burgers. And then I want you to do the next 2 after that. So just go in your answer, go 1 and then, or I, and then tell me what you think it is for 2 and for 3. Off you go. So this is a probability question. So it's going to use the probability equation and your thinking. So as we look at this, think about what regions are going to be involved for each of these questions, and then ask yourself, what is the probability that will be? So I've colored in for the first 2, the 2 regions that I think it is. And buy salads or burgers or both, but not toasted sandwiches. Oh, buy salads or burgers, but not toasted sandwiches. It feels to me like that should be a thing. I'll check my answers now. But I get 10 for the first one there. And what do we get? I'll give you a bit more time for the next one. Keep those answers coming, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so for the first one, salad, but not toasted sandwiches or burgers, it's definitely 10 out of 50. So that's that one. For 2, buys toasted sandwiches and salad, but not burgers. Basically, it's going to be the yellow 2, because it's, if you think about sandwiches and salad, it normally would be like this whole region here, but then it can't be in the burger. So that's why it's just the yellow bit, which is the 2 out of 50. It's just this one over here. And then the third one, buy salad or burgers or both. So buy salad or burgers, buy salad or, let me actually just make sure I got that one right, because that one I might be a bit wonky there. Buy salad or burgers or both. Oh, wait. Okay, so this one I made a bit of a boo-boo on. So the third one, my region is not correct. So look, buy salad or burgers or both. That is going to be, let's actually bring up the answer here. Salad or burgers or both, but not toasted sandwiches. Salad or burgers or both, but not toasted sandwiches. That is going to be this region here, this region, and this region over here. Because I can't be in toasted sandwiches, but it could be any other of those red parts. Can everyone see that? Okay, because even for me, my brain was like, whoa, what's going on here? So you really do need to take a moment and just think through it and see, okay, it says it could be salads or burgers or both, but it can't be anywhere in the toasted sandwich circle. And so that's why it's going to be 10 plus 5 plus 4, which is 19 out of 50.
Well done, guys. Very good work.
That was a lot of thinking there, huh? All right. Now, we've done quite a lot of work already today, and what our brains are begging us for is some relaxation. So I want you to stand up, and I want you to stretch your best stretch. Lebo, if you could please tell me those students who are shining brightest. And Lebo, you can show us your... let's...
Come on, guys. Please turn on your cameras. You know, we'd love to see your lovely
I
faces.
just want to give you a big virtual hug. Let's stretch it out. Oh, thank goodness. Don't let me have all the happiness, guys.
Come on, guys. Give your mind a break. Shout out to Elisha, Xoliswa, Nolwazi. Yes, guys.
Let's do it. There your body.
Elisha, how about to stretch?
Shake it out, shake it out. There we go.
Shout out to Lesego. Yes, guys. Loving this energy.
You got to do it. Do the jazz hands or whatever. I'm not much of a dancer. Like, okay. There we go. Shake it out. It's like pretend you're a drama or something. We all need a bit of drama.
Shout out to Kachacho. Yes,
Okay.
guys. Love it.
Oh, I feel so much better. I hope you feel like that stress just melts away now.
Oh, yes.
So, brain break. Here is your brain break for today. Okay, careful, careful, careful. When Josh was 8, let's see, his brother was half his age. So Josh and his brother. So when Josh was 8, how old was his brother? And now that Josh is 14, how old is his brother? Aha, yes, yes, yes. Sneaky, watch out. So when Josh was 8, his brother was 4. Now that Josh is 14, his brother is still going to be 4 years younger than him, which means it's 10. So well done. I see lots of you did get that, but always the moral of the story is draw a little diagram if you need to, or draw a little, like a visual aid. Get that visual processing part of your brain to get in on the action. Okay. Nice, Ari. I see your answer there. Okay, cool. All right, do one last shake of the hands, get your body nice and loose, give your brain some oxygen, take a nice deep breath, and let's roll on to part 2 of the Venn diagram type of question. So what we notice in this question is that you're given quite a lot of information. However, really, in order to answer this question, we really just have to draw a Venn diagram that takes this information. Once we've got this information, it's the Venn diagram does all the hard work. So I'm going to use my teacher powers and say, all I want you to do is take 2 minutes and see if you can work out what the Venn diagram looks like for this set of information. There are 3 events. The events are tennis, rugby, and cricket. However, I'll give you one tip. When we do Venn diagrams, we almost always start from the smallest region or the innermost region. And so my one tip is to say 78 like all three sports. And so starting by filling in that region, wherever it is normally a good way to start these questions. Okay. Give it a go. If you're stuck, raise your hand and ask a question. But I just want you to try and draw this Venn diagram first and see how far you get before I come along. So I've given you those first two bits of information just to give you a little bit of a hint. See if that helps you in figuring out the different regions. I like to tick them off or cross them off as I go. Okay. I was wondering if someone can maybe come on the line and help me understand how do I work with these top 3 bits that I haven't used yet? Because I've got these 3 regions and yeah, let me go to Lee. Hi, Lee. Well, how do you use those top 3 bits of information? Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was doing was I took the 180 minus
Yeah.
minus the 80 minus 78 minus 60 since they're in the same region.
Aha. And you know that 180 is tennis. So it
Yes.
basically must be whatever is left after I take away what's already inside tennis,
Yes.
which I get is 12. Did you get 12, Lee?
Yes, I got 12, sir.
Fantastic. And then I assume the same technique would work for rugby as well, because
Yes.
it's the same
That's
number.
what
It's
I was
180.
doing. Yes.
Yeah. So 180 minus.
18.
What did you get for rugby?
I got an 18, sir.
I got an 18 as well. Okay, thank you so much, Lee. I think you've given us a really good step forward. I'm going to look at the chat now to see I want to know, what do people think that region is over there? I've lost the chat for some reason. Where did I put it? So we know cricket's 240, so we go 240 minus 60 minus 78 minus 54, and we should get 48. And then what is the final thing we need to get? What about this region out here? What's that going to be? If you don't like any of these three sports, what is the number of people who do that? And I know how many learners were there in this whole thing. There were 350. So following the same idea that Lee showed earlier, I'm just going to subtract. What do we get? Yeah, so I get 50. Awesome. So you can see how you just have to work slowly and methodically, but you can work out these different, and what this does is it allows you now to answer the probability questions that follow. So calculate how many learners like tennis only. You can see straight away from the diagram that it's 12. That's going to be these guys or girls over here. How many people only like cricket? It's going to be 48. And how many people do not like any of the three sports? It's just going to be 50. Once you've done the Venn diagram, all the hard work is done. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to calculate the probability answers for this question C. What's the probability that if you chose a random person here, they like rugby only? And what's the probability that if you choose one random person, that they like none of the sports? I want you to answer that and put that in the chat. So I know that there are 350 possible people, so that's not difficult for 1 and 2. It's always going to be the number of possible outcomes is 350. Likes rugby only. Likes rugby only is going to be 18 out of 350. And you can write it as a decimal if the question asks, but if it just says, oh, it says to 2 decimal places in this case. So I should go 0.05. And then what is the second one? Likes none of the sports. It's going to be, pop that in the chat, 0.14. And so you can see that it's more likely that someone will like none of the sports than will like only rugby. Because there's a 14% chance they'll like nothing. There's a 5% chance that they will like only rugby.
Mr. S?
Yeah.
Lysandra's asking if you can please repeat how you got 50.
How I got 50. So in the question, it said, what is the probability that if you chose a random student, they'll like none of the sports? Now, we know that 350 is the whole Venn diagram. So that's the number of possible. And the number of students who don't like any of the sports are this 50. And that's how I got it over there. Okay. Let's squeeze in one more question if there's time. Imichle, what's your question?
Sir, I want to ask when we get the answer as like a big fraction, do we have to simplify it into a smaller fraction, or do you have to put it in decimals?
It depends on the question. In this question, it said as a percentage. Oh, sorry, I actually didn't. As a percentage, correct 2 decimal places. So I actually should have written this. If I follow the absolute letter of the law here, I should have written this in terms of percentage to 2 decimal places, which is going to be 14.29, because I needed those extra decimal places and I needed a percentage. And then for 18 divided by 50, what did I get for that? I got 18 divided by 350. I should have got 0. It'll be, according to percentage scale, 5.14%. So it depends on the instructions. It's here, it said as a percentage, correct 2 decimal places. If they didn't say any guidance, I could have just left it as 18 out of 350. But because they said not even 2 decimal places, they said as a percentage to 2 decimal places, I actually should have given this one over here. Give me a thumbs up if you understand that. Thumbs down if I've caused you some confusion. So the question specifically said percentage to 2 decimal places. In general, if they don't describe it, then you can just choose the easiest one. Decimals are easier for comparison, though. All right. Now, we're not going to have a chance to finish this next question, but we're just going to start it because I want to show you this type of question. So sometimes you have to allocate one of the regions as X. So this is from a past exam. You can see this is a past exam. And I just want to see, can you try and draw the Venn diagram where instead of just being only numbers, they've let one of the regions be X. And I just want to see if we can, we'll finish this in the next lesson if we have to, but let's just have a quick crack at drawing the Venn diagram for this type of question. And then I'll send you the link to the quiz.
Mr. Ace?
Komatsida, I'll go back to it at the very end. If you just hang on for a bit after class, I just want to keep this because we've got sort of 5-7 minutes left or so. And so I just want to squeeze this question in because I think there's one in the quiz about this. We've done that one. So what I'm doing is I'm ticking off the regions. When I say 12 learners like rugby and chess, but not volleyball, it must be this one over here. So it's 12. And then 14 learners like rugby and volleyball, but not chess. It feels like that's going to be 14. But now I've got a problem. What do I do? This feels a bit like Lee's question from before. How do I represent those 3 regions? Would anybody like to give me idea as to what I do for, let's say, the question mark in the rugby circle. How do I handle that? Any ideas?
Anybody?
Otherwise, I think maybe if we're running out of time, I'll assist. What do we know about rugby? There are 52 learners that, oh, Elichle, let's go to you. How would we, what do you think we need to do?
I think that we should minus the 14, the 12, and the X from 52.
Exactly. So to work out the region, we go 52 minus 14 minus 12 minus X, which is just going to be, let me make sure I do this right, 52 minus 26. So 26 minus X. Using the same idea for volleyball, okay, using the same idea for volleyball, I'm going to go 42 minus 14 minus 15 minus X, which is going to give me 13 minus X. And then using the same idea for chess. Oh, no, chess is actually easy. So chess is 5, like that. So now, the problem is, and this is where we're going to end the lesson today, and I know that was a bit quick, so if you need to take a screenshot, how am I going to figure out what X is? Because once I figure out what X is, the rest of the question is easy. There's just one step we need to do, one equation. What is the one piece of information we haven't used so far? And then we're going to finish the lesson for today. Okay, so all we would need to do, Pifano has nailed it. We add all the regions up and we make them equal to 80. And so if we add up all these regions and we make them equal to 80, we can then solve for X. And if we solve for that X, we should, according to the question, get 8. Okay? But we'll carry on with this question in the next lesson. There is something a little bit like this in your quiz today. And so if it feels a little bit tough, don't stress too much because we'll carry on in the next lesson. Okay, but I think we've done a lot today. And so I think I want to bring the lesson to a close and say, well done. I really am proud of the work that we've done today. And Lebo, if you could put the link to the quiz in the chat, please, so our students can get the practice that they on the content.
Mr. S, sorry, the links have not been posted. I'm just trying to get it online.
All right. I tell you what, let's stay then for a while and let's just finish off this question. So you don't need to go yet if the links aren't ready. So let's see, can you show me that this X is 8? Let's try and do it. What have I done so far? Oh, come back. X 12, 15, 5, 3. What does that equal to? 80. So we get minus X plus X. They cancel each other out. Put your answer for X in the chat. Plus 13. I get 88 minus X equals 80. And then 88 minus 80 is X. And so X is 8. Okay. We've got a little bit of extra time. see if you can answer these two questions. How many learners like only rugby? See if you can answer that question.
I just got the link now, Mr. S.
Oh, did you? Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, our last question will be how many learners only like rugby, and then we'll let you go off and do the quiz. So remember, this is not a probability question. This 1.3 is just a how many learners question. 9.4 is a probability one. So how many learners only like rugby? It's just going to be 26 minus x, but I know what x is. 26 minus 8 is going to be 18. And that's how many learners like only rugby. Okay, you can pop the quiz in the chat label. And guys, you've worked really well today. Like I really